Hello 5-Psych lovers, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to dive into something that can quietly creep into all of our relationships without us even noticing. Relationships, whether they're friendships, family, or romantic relationships, are one of the most beautiful parts of life. And for most parts, we've been taught that good relationships are worth fighting for, and worth holding on to no matter what. But what happens when that fight starts to take something from you? What happens when you realize you've been battling to keep someone in your life at the expense of losing yourself? Truth is, holding on to certain people can sometimes cost us more than we ever bargained for. And eventually it can cost us our sense of identity, our peace, and even our happiness. It's a tough truth, but it's one we need to face. The scary part is that the trade-off always starts small and seemingly inconsequential. You value this person, whether it's a friend, partner, or family member. So you make compromises here and there. You adjust your plans, give in during disagreements, maybe even stay quiet when something bothers you. And that seems fine at first. After all, relationships require us to give and take. So it is natural to think you're just compromising, just being flexible, or just doing what's necessary to keep things smooth. But over time, all those little compromises add up, and before you know it, you've made a bargain. I'll give up who I am, my hobbies, my boundaries, my values, and my voice, as long as I get to keep you in my life. Here's the truth. When you're constantly fighting to keep someone in your life, it's easy to lose sight of who you are. Why? Because you start to prioritize their being in your life over you having a life. And here's the kicker. The more you do this, the more you chip away at your authentic self, and soon enough you can't even recognize yourself. Now, I'm not saying that relationships do not require effort, because they do. But there's a difference between effort and needless sacrifice, and when you're sacrificing the core of who you are just to keep someone in your life, you are certainly doing a tad bit too much. Let's not forget how exhausting fighting to keep someone in your life is. It wears you down. You become hyper-focused on their approval, their validation, and their happiness, all the while neglecting your own emotional health. You might start to feel resentful, anxious, or even depressed because deep down, you know something's off. You know that you're sacrificing too much, but you're afraid to let go because you've tied so much of your worth to that relationship. The constant stress of acting contrary to your needs and desires can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical reactions like consistent migraines, tightness of chest, and nervousness. It is like our bodies detect this inner turmoil and start sending signals that something is fundamentally wrong. So how do we stop this cycle? How do we avoid losing ourselves in the fight to keep people in our lives? First, it's about setting clear boundaries. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about protecting your sense of self. They allow you to love and care for others without losing who you are in the process. When you feel like you're compromising too much, check in with yourself. Are you still honoring your own needs and values? If not, it's time to reassess, push back, and rebalance the relationship. More importantly, learn to recognize when a relationship has run its course. It's hard, trust me, I know. But sometimes letting go is the healthiest thing you can do, both for yourself and for the other person. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and that's okay. It doesn't mean it wasn't valuable or meaningful. It just means that it's time for you to grow in different directions. And finally, focus on cultivating the relationship you have with yourself. When you know who you are, what you stand for, and what makes you happy, you'll be less likely to compromise those things for the sake of keeping someone else around. At the end of the day, fighting to keep people in your life should never come at the cost of losing yourself. It is perfectly human to crave connection and to want to feel needed, valued, and loved. But when those feelings come at the expense of our own well-being, it's no longer a healthy connection. It's a dependency, and that's where things get dangerous. Relationships should lift you up, not break you down. So if you ever find yourself feeling like you're giving away too much of who you are just to maintain a connection, take a step back. Your identity, your peace, and your happiness are worth so much more than any relationship that requires you to sacrifice those things. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next episode.